true because these are the principles that I have seen work, and they're successful. I had a friend of mine who told me the importance of telling stories. I mean, I love to tell stories. I got a whole bunch of them. Who ever heard of an Irishman from New York who didn't tell a story, right? For example, he'd tell the story about the rabbi who was walking through the village, and he saw this garden, the most important, beautiful garden he had ever seen. And in the garden was the woman whose garden it was. And the rabbi bowed and said to her, my dear Rachel, what a beautiful garden you and God have. To which the woman responded, well, thanks, Rabbi. You should have seen it when God had it all to himself. Now, what's the message I'm trying to get across? This is your garden. PPAI, this is your garden. Your company. It's time for you to wrap. Take care of it. All right? So before I leave you with a poem that my friend Osgood wrote, it summarizes everything that I have to say. And it goes like this. Some people think the best policy is never to expect very much out of life. If you don't expect very much, their reasoning goes, you'll never be disappointed. Now, it's people who act this way who like to lower the expectations of young people. If young people expect too much, their reasoning goes, the rest of their life is going to be one big letdown. Now, that's a crazy way to look at things. To me, the problem with setting your sights too high is far outweighed by the chance of underachievement that comes from setting your sights too low. Now, what keeps us from realizing our full potential, you wonderful people, is our own underestimation of what our full potential is. We're too ready to accept other people's discouraging comments about how far we can go or how high we can fly. The worst thing you can tell anybody of any age is that they may as well give up pursuing any given goal, because for one reason or another, they'll never make it anyway. Now, I talked to Osgood about this, and we one day got together, and we wrote a poem that summarizes everything I've talked to you about today, and it's my way of saying farewell, my friends. Listen to the message of the poem about a bird who never knew who he was. And it goes like this. A man once found an eagle's egg and put it in the nest of a barnyard hen. The eagle hatched and grew up with the rest of a brood of chicks, thought he didn't look at all the same. He scratched the ground for worms and bugs, and he played a chicken's game. The eagle clucked and cackled. He made a chicken sound. He flopped his wings, but he only flew some 2 feet off the ground. Now that's high. As chickens fly, the eagle had been told. And one day, when the eagle was quite old, he saw something magnificent, flying very high, making great majestic circles up there in the sky. He'd never seen the likes of it. What's that, he asked in awe, as he stared in wonder and amazement at the grace and the beauty that he saw. Well, that's an eagle, someone said. He belongs up there, it's clear. Just as we, since we are chickens, belong earthbound down here. The old eagle just accepted that. Most everybody does. And he lived and died a chicken, because that's what he thought he was. My dear friends, your greatest responsibility as leaders in your corporation, as leaders in your industry, is to stay in touch, never lose touch with the fact that you are an eagle, every one of you. And I want you to take this message back with you to your offices and your factories, and I want you to convey this message to every single person in your life. Your kids, your employees, your mates, your friends, perfect strangers, to remind them that they are eagles. Because, PPAI, we have many great circles remaining to be made. We have high to fly and far to go. So from Francis, from my associate Rachel, from those of us in our company, may I say to you, each and every one of you, never forget, you're the greatest. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.